The insect hopping about in the jungle grass can hardly compare itself with the bird that soars up to heaven. The inhabitant of puddles and pools cannot pretend to understand the bold flight of the red dragon. A ford which even ships dare not cross is an impossible barrier to the somber unicorn. A thing is not strange in itself. It depends on me to make it strange. The sayings of Guo Pu in the preface to the Guideways Through Mountains and Seas. When the general reader glances through the Shanhai Jing, he invariably becomes prejudiced against it on account of certain extravagant and far-fetched exaggerations, and on account of the many references to puzzling abnormalities and freaks of nature. Master Chuang somewhere says, "The extent of man's knowledge is nothing compared with the extent of man's ignorance." I've often seen this statement verified in matters of the Shanhai Jing. Now, both the vast extent of our universe, with its myriads of living beings busily engaged in multifarious pursuits, and also the genial warmth of the expanding and reverting forces of nature, bringing order and system into the endless variety of natural objects, have their origin in the chaotic mass of protoplasm, with its spontaneous interaction of evolution and involution, and becoming thereby incorporated in them, drift in this form toward mountains and rivers, where they assume visible shape. Alas, language fails to express these things adequately. As a matter of fact, when such an entity of abnormal vitality has once become concentrated, it needs but the flash of a moment's excitation to mature its susceptibility for transformation and to mold it into an individual form of appearance. This is what people call a marvel, though they know not what caused its marvelous character. Just as, on the other hand, people call other things devoid of marvel, though they know not that which causes them to be devoid of marvel. Natural objects are not marvelous in themselves. The marvel comes on the scene only when we come forward, not sooner. In reality, the marvel has its source in ourselves. To give an example or two of things which we can understand, we all know that the hottest fire comes from ice, and the coolest rats live on the burning mountains. Now, the common people, habitually talking about these things, see nothing puzzling or abnormal about them. Nevertheless, the moment they discuss the Shanhai Jing, everything in it becomes puzzling or abnormal. Thus, they are not puzzled by what is really puzzling, but they puzzle themselves about things which are by no means puzzling. If one is not puzzled by what is really a puzzle, then there is nothing in the world that is puzzling. But if one is puzzled by what is really no puzzle at all, then there is nothing in the world which may not become puzzling. The fact, then, is that this book has made its way in the world while 7 dynasties passed away. It came forth, indeed, of a sudden during the Han Dynasty, but it soon receded again into obscurity. As to the identification of the names and situation of the mountains and rivers, many errors and blunders have occurred, and many such rivers and mountains are not identical with those bearing the same name at the present day, and consequently many names have become covered with oblivion. Alas, that however firmly the truth may be established, the common people are sure to lose it. The writer, being under this apprehension, set accordingly to work, disentangling its luxurious thickets, setting forth its deeper meanings, and giving prominence to its lucid statements, in the hope that perchance he might be able to rescue an unrecognized text from oblivion, and to cause the account to be handed down to the coming generations. Surely a laudable undertaking.